We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Welcome live here on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bone Steel, Shane Doherty here in the booth, live from Daytona. We've got these guys from the Checkered Flag Racing League getting down for the first race of their Truck Series season here tonight. We're in the snowstorm, Shane. I can see about 2 foot of snow outside. The internet's a little bit laggy over here, so bear with me on that point. Holy cow, Shane. I lost power for about 4 hours earlier.
Yeah, usually I deal with a pretty internet lagging problems anyways, but yeah, pretty crazy stuff going on there in the East Coast. I'm up here in the Midwest, and so far we've gotten nothing, so I think I'm definitely blessed compared to some of you guys up there. Well, as we wait for this pace lap, let's go ahead and quickly go through the starting grid as we have 30 cars in attendance for tonight. Rally Grant Davis grabs the pole, Bronson Stafford second, Marcus Lambert will start third, Dean Held will start fourth, and fifth, Tom Bourne, sixth, Bryson Barker, seventh, Shane Terrian, eighth, Alec Conklin, ninth, Jeff Figlin, and 10th will be John Ross. Josh Shands, Brooke Potts, Josh Reveal, Clint Carr, Sean Powell, James Sievers, Joe Lawrence, Scott Ikes, Dennis Myers, and Michael Finlayson make up 10th through 20th. And then 21st is Ryan Broderick, William Kruska, Brad Pummel, Bryant Ward, Jason Garrett, Paul Crumai, Paul Tabor, Chris Johnson, Corey Hoover, and rounding out the field for tonight's event will be Corey Blevins.
The field's heading around turns 3 and 4 here, Shane, and this race is about to get kicked off. The pace car lights, of course, are off. Only 1 lap of pacing here at Daytona, and this season for these guys is about to get kicked off.
100 laps for tonight in the trucks on the new Daytona. Something similar we saw a couple of days ago, only on the old Daytona. We are on the new surface tonight, so back to what it is in real life as the green flag is out.
Green flag is up in the air. These drivers diving and down into turns 1 and 2, side by side. Those trucks up on the high side for a little while here are going to be losing a little bit of momentum. You see these guys already starting to try and get down to the bottom of the track here. And the 01 and the 96 making a breakaway, but only for a moment, because the draft here will drag the rest of the field right back up to it.
Definitely, they've stretched it out to about almost a half-second lead over the next car. That would be the 16 car there of Tom Bourne, and they are all by themselves up front, pretty single file through the top 5. You have to go back to about 6th before you find double file racing here as we come to complete lap 1.
Rally Grant Davis in the 01 will lead lap 1 of the season here live at Daytona, followed by Marcus Lambert in the number 96 machine.
Now the top 6 are single file, actually now top 8. Some more tandems clear their way through. And looks like everyone's sorting it out pretty quickly here, content to just ride where they are.
field rolling through 3 and 4. You see a little bit of two-car tandem action here. That might be something we're going to see throughout the night. We'll just have to see how this run develops.
Everyone has made their way to the inside line, as the outside line only has a tandem in the outside. That's for about 8th or 9th or so. That's Shane Terrian, along with Bronson Stafford there on the outside right now. Everybody else in the top 15 all working an inside line on that yellow line.
Having a little bit of a server issue there. The number 96 of Marcus Lambert just massively blinked out. The camera just completely lost focus, and when it returned, he was hard in the wall.
I don't even know if we can get a replay on that because of how the server ended up being there. But yeah, all of a sudden he appears in the wall, comes down and collects a couple cars, and then disappears again. Yeah, that must have been some server errors. Remember, the iRacing servers are in Massachusetts, so I don't know, maybe the weather is the cause of that, but we really don't know what happened there.
Yeah, the guys here at the CFRL talked about possibly postponing this race until a further date down the road when the weather's better, due to the iRacing servers being there in Massachusetts, or at least a set of them there. Unfortunately, I've got a feeling that the servers, they've played a toll on our equipment here tonight, and it's already playing a toll, continuing to at least, on our end. So I'm sure the drivers down there are experiencing some fun as well.
Yeah, I'm watching some of the connections of some of the drivers, and they're definitely not stable. They're definitely not what you usually are used to. They have a minute or two where they're good to go, and then start having some latency issues and whatnot. It's really affecting the guys, especially on the East Coast, affected by this weather. It's messing, obviously, with the iRacing servers, causing some of that netcode and lag we saw there. Really don't know what happened there with what appears to be Marcus Lambert, but it looks like several other cars got involved in that, and really we don't even have an explanation for it because he wasn't even visible in the server when it happened.
Again, we do apologize for the server issues. Not much we can do. I just went through and briefly checked on how some of the connections for some of the drivers here is looking, and it's not pretty. Most of the guys we watch them race in the Upper Edge Truck Series have a solid ping and a solid connection. They're in the red here currently, so currently definitely some issues going on here on iRacing.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Welcome back here live on Checkered Flag Interactive under our first caution here live at Daytona International Speedway. These guys, the Checkered Flag Racing League, their first race of the season here in the trucks, having a little bit of a connection issue with the iRacing servers here tonight, so things are a little bit complicated going into the beginning of this race. These guys have no resets. One of the drivers was unable to connect to the server, so he missed it. Then some of the drivers having issues early on. Pretty much the entire server just blinked out for about a straightaway, and that was massive carnage.
Yeah, definitely not the way these guys wanted to get their season started, not the way we wanted to get our night underway here at Checkered Flag Interactive, but it's still early on. We're making sure everything is operating in its best possible condition at the moment, and we'll hopefully have everything in tip-top shape by the time this race continues on, and hopefully bring you an exciting finish, which I believe everyone in here would also like to see.
But as you can see, it's a clear night here at Daytona, 78 degrees, so the race surface should be about 80 degrees without that sun glaring down. But as the race continues, realistically speaking, the track temperature would rise with these trucks going around here, but there are no dynamic conditions, so that is not the case.
Pace cars getting ready to come off here. Get our first restart under the way as Riley Grant Davis and Tom Bourne lead them down to the finish line. Green flags back in the air.
See, once again, now they're doubled up going into the corners. Riley Grant Davis still in the lead. Now the number 32 is on his back bumper as they go through the corner right now. That inside line once again prevailing, and we'll have to see how this one goes on the back straightaway. The number 20 now has a little bit of help from the number 84 machine, and these guys just trying to file down onto the bottom line as quickly as possible. Still some blinking up the front of the field.
Yes, even a couple of cars blink in and out from time to time. Maybe a sign of the server there a little bit. It's just one car, then another car. Really tell that the connection isn't exactly how it usually is, but it looks like everyone is safe for now.
Bryson Barker is going to dive underneath the number 20 of Bronson Stafford, an upper edge regular, and now Shane Terrian will also go around the number 20 machine. And it looks like Bronson's heading towards the back of the pack here. 100 laps up on the board, so there's plenty of time to get things done as the field just continues to start to spread out. Number 32 of Dean Helt really has that back bumper of Riley Grant Davis, that 0-1, the current leader here, taking over.
Yeah, as you said before, Steve, a lot of guys from the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series here tonight. Riley Grant Davis, Bronson Stafford, Tom Bourne, all running inside the top, and along with Shane Terrian, he's in 5th as well. And definitely also have Corey Hoover and Sean Powell toward the back half of the field, along with Mike Mason. Brad Hummel as well is here. So quite a lot of guys that we see Thursday night here now, and taking the trucks the Tuesday night.
is taking a look. I mean, we see cars blinking all over the place towards the back of the field right now. However, things at the front of the field have started to sort themselves back out. Although you got these guys on the outside line starting to battle the guys on the inside line, and that's starting to allow for those top two guys to break away, but a little bit of lag draft possibly coming into effect, and now Rally Grant Davis is going to go up on the outside. The number 32 is going to blink real quick there, and now the rest of the field is right there on their back bumper. We're going to have a major stack up coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, they tried to switch, but the pack swallowed them up pretty quickly. They had to block middle, so they didn't get freight trained, and that caused the entire pack to literally rubber band accordion effect back together. Went from like 10 cars in a pack to all of a sudden we've got almost 20 now, side by side, 2 deep, all across in the pack here, 2 wide, and now the leaders are going to be the 24 car there, and that's going to end up being the leader.
It's actually the 84 car pulling a trick on you there.
Yeah, we got the 84 and 64 up there as well, so definitely a lot of cars with the numbers there. Actually 1 and 2, that's Bryson Barker and Dean Helm. See a couple of cars getting a little bit loose. Corey Hoover down in the apron, he saves it. A couple cars had to check up there after something happened toward the top 5, but we stay green and everyone keeps it straight.
A lot of movement from these drivers right now. Oh, and we've got trouble. The 29, the 28, 28's coming back up. Big trouble.
Definitely not what these guys wanted to see, but looks like it's going to be an unfortunate wreck out of there out of 2.
The number 29 got up out of line, and Michael Finlayson there in the number 28 just got up underneath of him, and then carnage ensued following.
Yeah, Michael spins to the bottom here, and that car actually overcorrects, comes back up to about the yellow line, but truck's avoiding him, and he actually gets hit by the 5 truck of Clinton Carr, and then obviously goes spinning. Clinton's into the wall there. That car also heavily damaged, so definitely that's going to be a 3 truck wreck, but all 3 of those trucks badly damaged.
As the field starts to reconvene here behind the pace car for our second caution of the night. You are watching live on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth for race number 1 for the Checkered Flag Racing League. back live here from Daytona. Steve Bonesteel and Shane Doherty up in the booth, ready to get back to racing here after our second caution of the night. These guys having a little bit of a connection issue to get that first caution kicked off here, and now a little bit of bump drafting communication causing that second caution here. As the field gets ready to get the one to go, we've got the number 84 up in the lead, followed by the number 64 currently. And that
of the 30 cars that started, only 26 are left on the lead lap. Got a couple of cars in the pits getting damage fixed that are on the lead lap, but plenty that are off the lead lap and will probably not be able to continue after that caution.
Top 5 currently on your screen right now. Bryson Barker, the number 84 in the lead. John Ross there in the number 64. Joe Lawrence in the 78 with Josh Sands in the number 48. And then Rally Grant Davis, who led the majority of that first run, is now back to 5th after a switch. And we'd also like to highlight that the number 32 is way back there now. Dean Helt, who was leading for just a moment when they made a switch, he's still having connection issues along with many of the other drivers here on the field. So he has dropped back quite a few positions now in 10th.
Yeah, so he will be kind of not really trapped, but at the same time inside the pack, and he'll have to make his way back up toward the front, at least where he was. He's in still the upper half portion of the field, but he is outside the top 10, so he's got a little bit of work to do in that 32 car.
But Shane, we are getting ready to get the green flag going back here, and we've got over 80 laps left, and these guys have plenty more action coming.
Yeah, definitely just getting started here. Obviously, these guys taking it a little bit easy. Had some wrecks in the back, but I think we're going to start seeing some nice racing once these guys settle down, log some laps. It's 100 laps. We're only on lap 17 now as the green flag flies, so plenty of time here to get some nice racing going.
The field diving out of the tri-oval there, just like we've seen so far here tonight. Most of these guys trying to do the best they can in a hurry to get down to the bottom lane, because that is pretty much the fastest lane here at the track. And what you're really going to see, Shane, is these guys that are down on the bottom, they'll really start to break away in about 2 truck tandems here, because this is not the pack racing situation that we saw this Sunday night in the I've Got Balls 250. This is pack racing here in these trucks.
Yes, we're definitely starting to see it now. Tandems start, and then they get pulled back in by the pack, and then it becomes one big pack. We've seen that before, and it looks like everyone's going to ride in a single file line here on the first lap, and really, I guess, determining that they're going to want to ride for now and probably not race as aggressively as they might have been under that last run.
The front of the field is all single file. The top 10 there, just doing what they can. We're probably going to start to see some of these guys make some switches. A side effect of making a tandem drafting situation is that you've got to get a lot of switches going on, because these trucks do overheat, not quite as quickly as the Gen 6 cars do, but they overheat pretty quick.
Yeah, there's still definitely a more difficult car to handle in the tandem, as in terms of cooling your engine down and pushing it as you need to. These trucks are all about momentum, so if you kind of let it off the throttle and cool the engine a little bit too much, you might lose the draft. Definitely something to consider here while you're riding in this pack.
Just looking through the field there on the front straightaway, pretty much everyone is single file. The only driver up on the high side is the number 32 of Dean Helt, just trying to get in line with that connection issue there. It looks like he'll drop in line in 13th spot.
And definitely just going to want to ride it out with those connection issues. Hopefully they will resolve themselves. But definitely starting to see everyone calm down as in terms of the connection issues. Haven't seen any significant blinks out of anybody as of lately, so hopefully the server's quality is back to normal and here to stay for the rest of the race.
on board with the third place driver, Rally Grant Davis. You've got a good look right now at the second and first place cars there on your screen. Out that front windshield of the 24 design Silverado. He is going to make a move up on the high side. This was your pole sitter. We'll have to see how he gets around him here. Can't really tell from this camera view, but does he have any help, Shane?
He definitely does not have any help right now. The 78 pulls out of line. Maybe pick him up. Other than that, Rally Grant Davis has nobody behind him in the outside lane.
3 wide.
Someone within about 5 truck capacity is now another truck tries to do it by himself. That's the 4 truck. So we talked about a lap truck in the bottom there. And he's trying to make the move. That's Brad Pummel, the normal admin. The CMC Sportsman Series covered Thursday night here on CFI. He's getting a chance to climb aboard the driver's seat tonight, doing a nice job there in the 5th spot.
This is probably the first time that we have seen these guys get out there like they are right now. They're 2x2 up at the front. That high side still struggling, but once these trucks start to get heated up, it will bring the pack racing aspect back into it. Right now, Bryson Barker in that number 84 still out in front, being pushed by the number 97 of Brooks Potts there. But Brooks has the number 88 right on his back bumper with a little bit of a 3-car difference.
You see Brad try and get in front of the 48 truck. That's not going to work. Behind, in front of Josh Sands. Not quite enough room, and he'll have to wait it out here as these guys now form a single file line on the inside, and they're starting to hang out. Brad Pummel was all by himself on the outside.
Yeah, just like that, Rally Grant Davis went from being the 3rd place truck to now right in 14th position, way in the back of that front pack.
Yeah, he's going to hang on in this back half of this line. It's technically the lead pack. A couple of tandems behind that trying to catch back up. But it looks like everyone who saw these trucks try to make moves on the outside got shuffled back. It looks like everyone is going to stay on that inside line and hold their position. And I think really if you're going to pass somebody, you're going to need to get a couple of trucks together and really create a push for that outside line. You can't just pass somebody by yourself.
Bryson Barker still out front here, leading at Daytona for the first race of the season for the Checkered Flag Racing League. Here, brought to you by Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth, and big thanks to Michael Finlayson to bringing us on board for this race.
Bryson Barker quickly showing he's got a good truck to beat at the moment. He's got everybody behind him. No one's pulling out the challenge. Looks like everyone's just going to be content where they are and kind of just ride in line. These guys are definitely up against each other in the draft. They're not laying back like I thought they might. They're definitely trying to push, but not necessarily pushing. At the same time, as all of a sudden Bryson pulls out to the outside and ducks back into 3rd, maybe taking a switch or something like that. That's going to give Brooks Potts the lead here.
Number 48 up on the high side now, jumping behind the number 88, going to give him a push here on the outside line.
Yeah, they're going to try and make some progress, but quickly that outside line not proving to be the place to be at the moment. And they are quickly getting shuffled back. But now we're starting to see more trucks try and take to the outside line here. If you're going to make it work, you're going to have to get several trucks up there. And right now we're not seeing enough commit to make that work.
We are now a quarter of the way through this race, Shane, and things have not really gone exactly all too different than they usually do at a super speedway. We had that caution at the beginning of the race that involved the server lagging out really quick there. But aside from that, we saw a quick bump drafting mishap. And aside from that, we've been pretty much down to spec on pretty much every other super speedway race that you will see on iRacing.
Yeah, definitely now all of a sudden there is no outside lane. Everybody's on the inside and riding. And I think that's just going to be the memo so far. You see guys try and challenge that just can't get it done. Maybe that's a note to save for later in this race, where you're going to try and make a pass. Is the outside even the place to go at the moment? Because right now we haven't seen anybody actually complete a successful pass on the outside.
Still single file here at the front, but you're going to see these guys start to make some moves, as you did right there. 3 wide for just a hot second. The number 88 is going to jump back down to the bottom line. Now the number 20 will be up on that high side with a little bit of help. Just kidding. He's all alone back up there again. We'll have to see how this one changes up for them. But right now, that number 64, the Alamo Silverado, Strickland propane on the back bumper of that machine. We talked to Hank Hill earlier this week in the Bullring Racing League, Shane, and let me tell you, he went fast and he turned left and he got himself a top 4 position driving a machine powered by propane and propane accessories.
Yeah, definitely looking to be someone we'll watch throughout this season here, see if he runs the entire season, and it definitely might be a threat to be, or a force to be reckoned with, I think it's a better term to say here, for the championship here on Tuesday nights now.
Now 2 wide up at the front there, the number 4, or the number 2 actually, excuse me. I guess I'm not reading numbers quite right here tonight. Up on the high side, giving the number 20 a bump shot up on the high side, and it looks like the 20 will be clear, but the number 2 will not get clear. So the number 97, Brooks, there on the bottom line, will get the run off of the corner, and it's going to be a drag race to get that lap led.
Yeah, that was big there. If Corey would have got clear, they would have ducked down and Corey would have been able to cool the engine. Now he has to continue to push, and I don't think they're going to be able to clear him before Corey's going to have to let off. His engine is going to burn up here. Oil and water temp will rise significantly and continues to rise because they've been pushing for quite some time. They're going to want to take this lead. They're going to have to cool it down, and there they go to the high side, and Corey lets off. They're going to lose a little ground here.
Now the number 2 is going to be looking in the middle there. That will be number 2, the Corey Hoover machine, one of the top drivers in the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series. Now he's going to be taking a look and see if that number 20 has enough in the pot to get him towards the front here. We'll just have to see. That number 64 is hanging on for dear life, John Ross there. So we'll just have to see how that one plays out. But right now, 2 by 2 towards the front once again instead of single file.
Guys are trying to make it work on the outside, talking about Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford, but they're not going that far. They might get some ground here on the back straightaway. That's usually how it works. You can make up some ground on the straightaways and hang in there on the turns. They'll usually complete the pass in about a lap, but Corey is the leader by about maybe quarter of a truck heading into turn 3 there. Will Bronson be able to clear?
Oh, a big bobble there. 3 wide going through the triangle right now. The number 64 in the middle. Number 97 up by the wall. Contact there. The number 4 getting door shot. 84 blinks out for just a moment. Still 3 wide going through the corner. These guys settling it back out there.
Yeah, the 97 had some connection issues. Decided to pull out of line, which was a smart move. Only it panicked everyone behind them for some reason. And almost caused a big wreck there. Everyone sorts it back out, but they lost significant ground to your leaders, about a half or even 2/3 of a second to the top 4, as now we've got 2 tandems that have broken away.
Just taking a look right now, that battle for the lead still going on. Those two trucks up on the high side, giving it all they've got. Just not quite getting clear of Bryson Barker and William there on the bottom line.
And they're trying to clear him there, just not quite able to as the battle for the lead here up front continues to heat up.
These guys trying to get air as much as they can towards the front right now. The two car going in the middle, going to be making it 3 wide for just a hot second to make that pass.
Starting to see a couple of tandems trying to catch this top 4. Looks like Shane, Terry, and Brad Pummel working together. And also the 18 and the 14, that'd be Bryant Ward. Bryant Ward also working with Joe Lawrence in the 78 car, actually.
Still having a massive amount of server latency here. Sorry that I can see part of the racing actually on the screen, however it's not actually showing up for me. So I'm really lacking here, Shane. I'm checking my connection right now to the servers. I'm really struggling, so just doing the best we can here.
Yeah, obviously I'm not experiencing any problems because I'm nowhere near the storm, but definitely where your location is and where some of these guys' locations is, they're in the eye of the storm almost, and this is definitely not a good time to be using the internet, I guess you could say, and judging it like it normally is, because it's definitely wreaking havoc on some of the normal activities here with servers and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how one storm can really impact a lot of connections and things like that. Something I really haven't realized until this year, since we've seen all these just crazy snowstorms and whatnot.
Right there, the number 20 and the number 2 going to be making a driver swap, or I guess just a tandem swap, not a driver swap.
Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and swipe, switch tandems there. Can't even find the right word. We'll be swapping drivers this weekend, but until then we'll be swapping positions there, at least front and back of the tandem, you could say, and they are still in the lead, but now approaching some lap traffic, some stragglers that have been unable to catch the pack, I should say. One of them pits, that's Clinton Carr. There's definitely a couple of them up here, though. They're getting ready to go a lap down.
Number 20 and the number 2, they're starting to make a slight breakaway, almost colliding, though, with those cars down on the apron.
Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford quickly checking out from the rest of the field. Will the pack be able to pull them back in is the next question. Right now they are side by side for the 3rd spot, but making a little bit of ground.
Oh, the number 84 on the wall.
Drivers made an interesting move. That's be the 78 car, puts the 84 car on the wall. Bryson Barker hits the wall hard with the right side. He's probably going to lose the draft with that damage there. Coming from contact with the 78 of Joe Lawrence, and definitely really just not a unacceptable excuse. Not really an excuse, but at the same time, it's just one of those things that those guys didn't communicate when maybe making the switch or pulling out there to cause one of the drivers to get into the wall there. Just a miscommunication.
Hopping on board the number 20 of Bronson Stafford, on board with the gyro cam, just taking a look at all of the banking here. If you're standing on the apron and looking up the wall, this is like looking at the barn, a barn roof. It's incredible to stand down there at the bottom of the racetrack in Talladega's even steeper.
Yeah, definitely, but these guys, I have a feeling, are going to continue to go back and forth as long as we're green underneath this run. Just seems like one tandem will get out there a little bit, and next one will try and make a move, and then they'll make the pass for the lead. Just one of the excitements that we've seen here with this trucking drafting model. It's the older drafting model, at least. Now we usually see these guys run in packs in these trucks in real life, but for now in iRacing, it seems like the tandem is still the fastest way around these super speedways.
39 laps, now coming to 40 laps into this race. Corey Hoover, one of the Upper Edge CMC Sportsman Series top headers, is now currently out front with a little help by the number 2. Checkered Flag Interactive is going to head off to a quick commercial break. Do not go away. We will be back, and hopefully we'll get everything rebooted and reset to bring you the rest of the race here. And just like that, we're back here. We didn't even head off to a quick commercial, and we've got big junk coming out of turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like the 78's involved as well, the 88, 4, plenty of trucks. I can't even really speak how many of them are involved. Those were the initial trucks involved in the wreck, but several came down, collected even more. Some cars sliding through the grass, sliding through the infield, making late race contact there after the wreck happened. There's so many stuff going on, that's at least 10 trucks.
We'll hop on board the number 46 of Sean Powell. Now back taking a look at what happened. Yeah, the number 88 just seemed to have gotten hooked up in the wall there.
Yeah, that was definitely weird. Not something we see normally, but then again, it is the cause of that wreck. Unfortunately, we'll take out quite a few amount of trucks there. Just a simple mistake like that can really wreak havoc to the field.
Very strange caution and having an issue looking at some of the replays, but a lot of drivers started to blink out, so I'm not sure. Maybe it had something to do with the servers once again. We saw quite a few cars really bouncing around there.
Yeah, definitely not something we normally see in drafting. There might have been, who knows, maybe some misjudgment also as well. It's really tough to see where everyone is around you, but that might have been one of those instances where just tried to make a move and they got together and unfortunately hooked one of the trucks up into the wall, and the wrecking was on from there.
So now that we've got the chance,
not involved there, Steve, is Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford are still your leaders.
So now that we've got the chance here, after our third caution here, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Do not go away. Checkered Flag Interactive is going to get everything rebooted and be back here for the restart. Back live here from Daytona International Speedway. Everything rebooted here, and we've got the server back connected, everyone back on the screen. I lost about 10 drivers there on that last run. Now the number 20 and the number 2 back up in front. Bronson Stafford there in the outside lane, with number 2 on the inside lane. Riley Grant Davis has found his way back up to the front, as well as Dean Helt there in the number 32. So that top 4 drivers, all familiar faces towards the front, so we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a reset there for a lot of these drivers. For others, the race is pretty much over, and they're probably just going to go ahead and watch the rest of this race, because there were quite a few of them caught up in that wreck that will not be able to continue. But at the same time, the unfortunate to those up front, some of the guys who are running in the back half of the field now have a chance to be more toward the front, maybe see if they can grab the lead here. A couple of guys who were outside the top 20 that are now back inside the top 10.
Those twin CFI trucks up the front there, we'll have to see how they do here on this restart.
Yeah, Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford, pretty good, you could say friends, I guess, from the Upper Edge Sportsman Series. They know each other very well. They have been working together, and they have been a strong pair so far in front of the field. This green flag is out. It's going to take a lot to beat those two.
Bronson's going to drop down to the bottom lane in a quick hurry there, leaving the number 32 up on the high side, but the number 48 machine is there with no problem to get that outside line rolling. We'll have to see how it goes once they head down on the back straightaway. These drivers, again, pretty much what we saw for the majority of the beginning of the race here on these restarts. They'll get single file, and then the rubber band effect will come back up into play, and we'll get everyone stacked back up again.
Yeah, definitely don't want to restart though on the outside lane. We saw that with the 32 car of Dean Held. He once again goes to the back of this line, although it's only back about 6th position. I think they're scoring him. That might be 7th actually, correction. So he falls back a couple of spots from the start.
You know, one of the most important things here at Daytona and Talladega when it comes to super speedway racing is simply making sure, in my opinion, that you stay up with the lead pack and you keep your truck out of trouble. When it comes down to a long race with a lot on the line, like a championship or whatnot, my strategy is always stay to the very tail end of that front pack.
Yeah, you want to stay in the front pack, I guess this is the main idea coming from those 2 points. You don't want to hang out in the back, have a big wreck happen, miss it, and then hang out in the back again and have the race go caution free for the rest of the event. After a big wreck like that, we do have a lot less trucks on the track right now. I think that took out about 6 or 7 of them that are no longer able to continue. So what that means is we've got less cars out there racing each other, which means it's got a better chance to go for green flag laps, which means if you're hanging out in the back half of the field or off this lead pack, you might be out of luck if this race goes on and finishes without a caution here from the end.
Those guys up towards the front right now, just giving it a good shove, doing a beautiful job, the best job of anybody all night long to get that truck towards the front. Brad Pummel there in the number 2 machine, giving Bronson a good shove. Or actually, I've got that backwards. It's Corey Hoover in the number 2 machine. Brad Pummel was up towards the front in the number 4, but then he got involved in that last accident.
Yeah, definitely, but now we've seen Dean Held come back with Scott Ikes on the outside line there. Those 2 trucks especially have been fast. Scott's been in the back half of the field. Started 18th up to 4th, now inside the top 5 for the first time all race. We're approaching halfway here, and we're back to single file in front.
Like I said, I don't think that single file situation is going to last very long. Once those trucks start to heat up, they won't be able to push around most of the track, and then everyone on the outside is going to get that side draft action going, and then we're going to have ourselves a battle.
I think Corey and Bronson definitely aren't going to switch on the inside. They want that inside lane. You could see someone like Dean Held or Scott Ikes pull out to the outside here, maybe try and grab a couple friends to try and draft by these front two leading the pack right now, but so far they seem content to ride where they are. It's just going to come down to how many laps we get here as Shane Terrian also back there. He's taking a peek with Riley Grant Davis. They might be hitting to go to the outside here soon.
The number 17 machine, we saw him stay out there on that caution an extra lap, and then he dove it down pit road and got some repairs done to that machine. Now he's back up in that 4th position. You see him there in front of the 24 Design 01 of Riley Grant Davis there. Another one of the familiar faces from the upper edge CMC Sportsman Series, but now we're on lap 50. We're going to be making it halfway this time by.
50 down, 50 to go, almost here. Definitely getting down in the thick of things. We're coming up on a lap truck, the 78 truck of Joe Lawrence, involved in the previous caution. Leaders will move to the middle lane and make quick work of him. Always something interesting to watch. When you're going by a lap truck, you have to change your lane. Then you have to quickly get back down in it before someone tries to pass you. In that instance, everyone allows plenty of room, and everyone keeps their spot, and no one advances after passing the lap truck.
You see an outside line starting to form towards the rear of this pack, Shane. And now as we come to a complete lap 50, the top 5 to about the 8th position, I'd say, are single file. But you start to see right now that number 19 Hendrick Motorsports machine hopping out on the outside.
Yeah, those guys on the outside are going to have to work together. They're going to want to get toward the front. They might be able to gain a couple of spots, but it's all about using the draft together. Making it work. Now all of a sudden that's kind of broken up a little bit. We got a couple of trucks trying to make tandems on the outside, and we're just going to have to see how that works out, as that tandem is actually moving forward a little bit up there, and that would be one of the trucks in that draft would be the 19.
And then Chris Johnson there in the 19. He is actually 1 lap down, getting a push from the number 73. So as that lap down car is making his way up to the top of the field, we're going to have to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, I was wondering, they're going down the running order, and then all of a sudden saw Chris Johnson, the first truck, 1 lap down. That explains why, trying to get that lap back, but at the same time trying to put Jason Garrett into the lead. They pushed themselves all the way up to the leaders. What will they be able to continue on, as they've been pushing for a long time? Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford proving to be very strong in that inside lane. It looks like they're making some progress.
And what a push that number 73 has really been digging into the number 19 here. As they take the lead officially here, the 73 will be the leader, although the 19 did go across the line first. So Jason Garrett, the number 73, leading his first laps of the race, pushing a damaged car that is technically on the tail end of a lead lap.
Yeah, they are still pushing. That is amazing me. They have checked out, and I mean completely checked out. This top 5 have all of a sudden gapped the entire pack. Don't really know what's going on there. But literally in 3 laps, they pulled them a second and a half, and they're still pushing and still pulling away. That is incredible.
But they've got the competition now coming back on the high side. The number 20's got a big old push, and now it looks like the number 2 is going to be going on, giving a big shot. And this is where that number 73, Chris Johnson, or the number 19, Chris Johnson, is going to be getting a little bit frustrated, because he's going to go back 1 lap down. Because those guys that were on the inside line, they weren't pushing quite as hard as the number 19 and the 73 were trying to get up to the lead. So now they're going to have to let up off the gas, and now the drivers on the outside will make that switch. Now the number 2 machine will hop back out in front. That will be Corey Hoover getting the big push from Bronson Stafford.
They gapped the top 5 by 0.8 of a second. That's right, almost a second a lap they're gaining on that pack. That is incredible, talking about how hard they're pushing those trucks right now, trying to get to the lead. Coming up on another slow lap tandem there. A couple of trucks a lap down involved in the previous wreck. They make quick work of those 2, but they have completely checked out from that pack, and I don't even know how they did that. No one's been able to do that up to this point.
look right there, those two just breaking away, pretty solid, continuing just the way the number 73 did there, getting that big push, or giving the big push to the number 19. These two now up in the front, they're starting to pull away with those cooled off radiators, now heating it back up, but it looks like that switch definitely paid off for those top two.
Yeah, that's just surprising how they rode in a pack for most of the first part of the race. All of a sudden, we got past halfway. It looks like we're going to go green flag racing for a long time. Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford turned on the jets and said see ya to the rest of the field. And they're still pulling away. All of a sudden, it's tandems, and the pack is no more. Guys trying to find a partner to try and catch up to these front couple of guys in the tandems up front.
Looking back towards that pack, these guys 3 seconds behind the leader, led by the number 38 of Shane Terrian. So Shane Terrian's got these guys up behind him, and even Shane and the number 48 starting to break away, as well as Riley Grant Davison and Ryan Broderick there. So these guys are starting to see the tandem draft really prevail here at Daytona, and they've got 44 laps left on the board, so they've got at least one more pit stop to make time up and make something happen.
Yeah, they definitely can. We've seen some crazy stuff here covering leads in the past where they've come in with maybe down 4 seconds or so, and they've come out like a couple or almost 7 seconds or so in front of the pack. It's crazy if you do your job on pit road how much time you can gain against the competition. It's really going to come down to the guys who have the experience doing it and are the most comfortable bringing this truck to the halt in the fastest time possible, making the best use out of what you have left in those tires.
Start to see the 17 and the 32 there. Scott Hicks with Dean Helt starting to make a run towards the front once again. These guys were towards the front, however Dean started to have a connection issue earlier on in the event, so now that he's got that connection issue, or at least he thinks he does, sorted out, now he's really getting onto the back bumper, that 17, and they are really closing in. They're going about a full second quicker throughout the past couple laps.
Yeah, they've kind of hooked onto the draft of those front four, and they're starting to move forward. They got together. They understood that the leaders were pulling away, so they tandemed up, partnered up, and they have made their way almost to the lead. They got about a second to go, but they will be there, and they are well within striking distance of the front four.
That top four of these drivers starting to again make some driver swaps. Now the number 2 up on the high side, letting the number 20 get back up in front of him. Bronson Stafford now trying to take over that lead tandem on the high side. We will see how the number 19 and the 73 deal on the inside line. We might be able to see them continue to push and maybe get out in front of these guys that are on the outside in those CFI trucks. It's just going to be tough now that the 73 is heated up and that number 19 has some spoiler damage. We'll have to be careful here, because one slight move could mean that both tandems get taken out.
Yeah, it could definitely be bad news for all those guys, and we'll have to just see here. Coming up now at almost 60 laps complete. We're 59 laps through, working the 60th lap of this race. Definitely getting down to it, and will we see green flag pit stops? Well, we are just about, or if not right at, that window where these guys could pit now, take a full tank of fuel, and they would be able to make it to the end of this race without pitting again. So watch for pit stops to possibly happen here within the next 10 laps.
They're going to make a switch on that outside line. The number 20 up by the wall. Now the number 2 swinging through the middle there. And that third tandem has caught them now, Shane. And we've got ourselves a 6-truck battle up at the front.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see now if they pull the rest of the pack, or will the pack take advantage of these guys kind of grouping together and maybe try and reel them back in. Right now they're still gaining on the rest of that pack, even with battling against each other. So maybe it's just all about pushing each other and using the draft effectively and not riding in line like we saw earlier. That's ultimately going to help you win this race.
Josh Sands and number 38 right there. Both of those drivers starting to make that run back up towards the front. They've got a ways to go. Just breaking the 3-second bracket there, but they're going to be making a switch, which is going to check them up just a little bit there.
Yeah, it definitely does check them up a little bit, but we continue to race well here. These guys racing pretty cleanly, giving each other room, not really worth getting into each other, losing this big lead that they continue to build over the pack. Really remarkable. They're riding in the line or battling each other at times, and they're still pulling away from the rest of the pack, which speaks dividends to how experienced some of these guys in the front half of the field are at super speedway drafting. I know all these upper edge guys in this pack have plenty of experience racing in the super speedways. They went to the Daytona here in the trucks a couple times. They've come here before in the B car. They have experience, and it's starting to pay off here against some of these other guys who maybe don't have nearly as much experience on super speedways.
Right now, the number 32 is going to be getting that run on the outside line. The 17's really diving onto his back bumper, much like we saw by other drivers throughout this race. It's just the way this outside line works, unless you get that run established using like the side draft or something like that, it's just so tough to really make that run.
Yeah, definitely. Now they're back into a single file line, and we'll just have to see what they do here. Is all of a sudden one truck pulls to the outside. That's Scott Ikes, and I don't know if they're making a switch or whatnot. We might be getting ready for pit stops here. Guys still going ahead and riding in a single file line. 6 trucks here in the upper part of the field. They are the lead pack, leading the rest of the field by over 5 seconds. That is incredible. They gained a second that last lap by. These guys have just simply checked out. I just don't understand how they did it all of a sudden in the second half of the race. And early on, everyone seemed like they were in one pack, tightly compacted. Really seemed like anyone had a chance. But now all of a sudden, these top 6 have kind of isolated themselves from the rest of the field.
See a group of cars there battling that second group. That group includes Josh Sands, Shane Terrian, Riley Grant Davis, and then the number 29 of Ryan Broderick. So these guys have a lot of ground now to make up. They're running about half of a second slower each and every lap now. So these guys, while they were making some headway, now that they've got into a pack and a group, they've started to race, and now they're losing that time that they gained.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. It seemed like they were coming, trying to reform the pack perhaps, the front part of this field, but that has all of a sudden not worked, and now we're starting to see guys like Scott Ikes and Dean Held fall off the front 6, and now it's only the front 4. With only 3 of those trucks in the lead lap, remember, because the 19 car of Chris Johnson is the first truck 1 lap down, riding in line.
A pivotal moment for the 32 and the 17 here. If these guys start to lose that draft, which I don't think they will now that they've got another run up on that lead group, they could have found themselves in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they eventually maybe would have had that pack pick them up, but for now they stay fine, and we're actually starting to see some of those guys gain some of that time back, I guess, on the front 6 here. Not a lot, they're still over 5 seconds, but it's going to take a lot of consistency and gaining some of that time back to come back in this race, because we're under 35 laps to go now.
Gotta feel bad for the number 97 of Brooks Potts there. He's all on his lonesome right now, running 20 miles an hour or so off the pace, and he's currently just in a world all of his own there in the number 97.
Yeah, he is. He's one of those trucks that had damage beforehand from that wreck, fell off the pace, and now is, well, out of anyone's way, but at the same time out of anyone's help, because he does not have anybody to pick him up to tandem with to maybe save his race from falling a lap down. He only is 15 seconds off the lead though, so he's got at least another 2/3 of a lap to go before he would be lapped.
Those two drivers on the tail end of that lead pack, still Shane, seem to be a little bit off of the pace, or at least maybe not quite on cue with those other drivers, those top four up there. And they're really struggling to keep up with that lead group, but they're doing the best that they can.
Yeah, really the best they can at this point. We know it's going to be green flag for a while unless we see someone make a mistake. But other than that, it's just going to be trying your best to manipulate the draft against your competitors and try and work together and try and get up to this front pack. That's your ultimate goal. If you can't make that, obviously you will not have a chance to win this race. Definitely working together and getting up there would be great. It's not impossible, but it's just going to take a lot of work.
You are watching the Checkered Flag Racing League live on Checkered Flag Interactive with Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty up in the booth. We've got about 30 laps to go here at Daytona. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. We will be right back for more green flag action here at the track.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Back live here at Daytona, 28 laps to go here nothing has changed up at the front of the field. We still have 6 trucks fighting it out for the lead.
Yeah, they're still in that pack. They've pretty much equaled out the gap that they have in the back. Next pack, or the second pack, as you could say, they haven't gained or lost any since we went away from break. Starting to see some more trucks now duck out there from the first pack, trying to get separated here. We could be seeing pit stops here very soon, though. These guys understanding that it's getting down to it. They've been out here for quite some time, so if they want to make that choice or not, they're going to have to come down soon. And here comes the signal from Dean Held, and that probably means Scott Ikes is coming as well. So pit stops starting to take place here for the first time under green flag conditions.
Shane Darian and Josh Sands there, the number 38 and the number 48, they started to make some gains on that lead pack, now just 5 seconds behind, and I mean, I know that's a huge gap. The only drivers up towards the front that came down this time by was the 73 and the number 19.
Yeah, I think there was some miscommunication between the 32 and the 17 there. Dean Held, Scott Ikes not on the same page, possibly trying to stop without the other one knowing, so they keep going, and we might see them in next time around. They can't be out there for long, so definitely we will see them pit, but they might call off or call an audible, you could say, and try and pit with these front two of Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford, but we won't know that obviously until they make their green flag pit stops.
We really got a feel for Bryson Barker, one of those drivers that was up towards the front earlier on as well. He is now sitting in 12th position. He hooked up with Brooks Potts, who was all on his lonesome, so these two drivers found each other with a quarter left in this race, 25 laps to go.
Yeah, they're pretty much just going to hope that they don't get passed anymore, at least don't get lapped at this point. Their opportunity to move forward is pretty much all but over. Unless we get a caution, they have a chance to repair some of the damage they still have, because both of them still do have some damage there, and it will really be up to that. But if we don't get a caution, I'd say if you're in this top 5, you have the greatest shot to win. But really, it's just going to come down to, like I said before, executing that green flag pit stop to the best of your ability. And if you can do that, you're going to have the lead in this late portion of the race, and you're going to be tough to catch.
These guys right there, the 38 and 48, they are still trying to catch up, but they're just not having any luck. And that's really the struggle here at Daytona. And when it comes to racing in general, once you get behind, it's just a lot harder to make up time.
Yeah, they tried. They seemed like they were coming back, but all of a sudden they lost it all. It just doesn't seem like they have made much progress ever since. It's unfortunate. They're going to be the ones hoping for a caution here before the end of this race. But just kind of a surprise here. We haven't seen your leaders pit still, coming up on almost 20 to go. Got a couple laps before then. But we're getting down to it. They're probably going to come in for no tires and probably a half tank of fuel, I would say. Just enough to get them to the finish here with only about 20 laps to go.
Yeah, these leaders, they will be coming down pretty soon here. You have to imagine they probably only have about 4 to 5 laps maximum left in the tank here. So they're going to push it as far as they can and see how it goes, but there's no way that these guys are going to be staying out there much longer, Shane.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be caught out as the last guys to pit. We've seen that before. If you're going to pit, you're probably just going to have to pit early because that's your best choice. Talking strategy over the radio right now between Bronson and Corey Hoover, and they are trying to see when they're going to make their pit stop. It might be this time. I'm hinting at it because here come the 32 and the 17 flying by. We could see your leaders come down pit road this time.
A little bit of a blank there from the number 32, and everyone's going to be staying up on the track here this time by. So again, another lap here at Daytona International Speedway, where these guys up at the front staying out and giving it another lap around here.
If you can make it from here, why not pit it? At least in my opinion, because everyone's going to have to stop again. We got the green with about 60 laps to go, so definitely no one's going to be able to stretch it any further than that. I mean, you're going to have to come down before soon, but I guess some of these guys are electing to run it dry, come in and take the least amount of fuel possible, spend the least amount of time on pit road, and maybe see if that gains them the most time, rather than coming up and filling it up a little bit more. And here come the top four. This time Barley waited an extra lap, see if everyone gets on clean to pit road. Dean Held spins out on pit entry. That is clutch. Unfortunate for him. Not clutch, I should say, as he unfortunately goes around. He gets back going. A couple trucks come back onto pit road as well. But that's going to be a tough break for him, because we're going to have some guys without drafting partners.
Luckily for the number 32 machine there, he didn't damage it. So while he did choke like Peyton Manning, he didn't damage it like a deflated football.
Yes, definitely there, but also Corey Hoover's nowhere to be seen. Did he speed? Did he have a problem? I don't know, but he's way behind Bronson Stafford. So all your top four having miscues. Is this a chance for Shane Terrian, perhaps, and Josh Sands?
Ooh, something going on with those guys that stayed out. Oh, they're coming down on pit road. I didn't hear engine noise coming from their truck, Shane. I thought they're out of gas.
That could be a possibility, but you know, they are just on the pit road there. Everyone's fine, but all your leaders got separated. But I think that happened for everybody pretty much. That's unfortunate. Dean Held, Shane Terrian now have really worked themselves together. The big winner in this entire sequence is going to be Shane Terrian. He was outside the top 5. He's going to be inside the top 4 when this all cycles around. And they are coming with a head of steam to Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford. Shane's all of a sudden got himself a chance to win. Looks like more cars will bring it on pit road. The 29 Orion Broderick comes down pit road trying to see if he's got any partner. Yes, he does. He has Riley Grant Davis. And the rest stay out. But definitely they're going to have to come down pit road as Ryan Broderick actually goes through pit road. Not understanding what he did there. Or no, he actually spun out. We didn't catch that. But he goes back through pit road and he is back up onto the track. He was one of those cars that had to pit. I don't think he took any service. So he'll have to come back around and complete service on that 29 truck. But it looks like when it all cycles out, it's going to be between Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford, and then Dean Held and Shane Terrian. And somehow that mistake by Dean Held is not going to affect him at all because of all the separation they had earlier. He was able to team up with Shane Terrian, pushed his way all the way up here to Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford. It's going to be a 4-truck battle for the lead when this all cycles through, and there you go. Scott Ikes and Jason Garrett are your leaders. And actually they pitted, so that's an interesting note to think. They actually pitted about 10 laps earlier than the leaders. They're good to go. How I completely missed them, I have no idea. But yeah, they've got a 3-second lead over everybody, and they came in a lot earlier.
What could have happened is they had a very clean pit stop, and not only was that pit stop really clean, but they got in a pretty large group of cars for a couple laps, and they were right on the tail end, so they were able to get some pretty nice lap times for a little while there.
Yeah, needless to say, they might be caught by these these two tandems of 4 trucks. If that doesn't happen, though, the race for the win's basically going to be between these two. That last time by, they caught the front two by about 0.7 of a second, so definitely we're starting to see who exactly is doing better right now. Those 4 trucks tandeming together in the draft seems faster. We've got 16 laps to go, technically 15 and a half now. So they head their way down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Plenty of time to make moves. This very well could be a nice 6-truck battle for the win when this thing's all over.
Again, another one of those drivers that was up in a pack of cars that's all alone now. Shane Terrian in that 6th position. I know you said he was going to be a beneficiary here, but he's in trouble.
Yeah, he definitely fell back all of a sudden. Don't understand what happened there. Well, maybe look back and see actually what happened there. That was kind of weird. What happened to Shane there? He all of a sudden lost his partner there. That's not something that is going to help him at all. Yeah, what actually turns out happened to Shane is that, yeah, Dean just hooked up and left him. Dean going ahead and going with a, I believe, a lap truck, the 17 truck. I believe Dean is working with, so definitely not, well, what Shane wanted to see, but at the same time, something that Scott Ikes wanted to see. Scott's on the lead lap. That's Mike's fault there. Scott is actually on the lead lap. He's inside the top 5 in 5th spot. But these guys have caught the front pack, got some lap trucks in front. This is affecting the lead, and now the battle is on here in the closing laps.
Looks like the 20 and the 2 will get that massive run on the outside. Now the 2 will drop down in front of the number 19 there. And Corey Hoover's going to try to come back up in front of Bronson there. And the caution's out. Big time changes here.
Trying to find where it is. This is going to be one of those cautions. I think we're going to have to take a good look in the binoculars while we do that real quick.
Bryson Barker in the number 84 kind of lagged out there, and you see him blinking, going around. So that is the cause of the caution.
Either internet issues or server issues caused that one. It once again happens in the tri-oval. Kind of hard to see there. That's why it was hard to spot. He was in and out of the server while spinning. Then eventually came to rest on the tri-oval there and got it back going, but still experiencing connection issues. Is Bryson Barker. Unfortunate for him, but the caution is out for the first time in almost 50 laps. That was a long run. Almost half the race there covered under that run. When we get the green flag here, we're going to have under 10 laps to go, which means everyone's back in it, and the intensity all of a sudden is hyped up.
We're going to head off to a commercial break, and we'll bring you back for the green flag.
We are 24 Designs, Jeff Gordon Graphics and more. We make custom graphics, logos, and even iRacing paint schemes. Check us out on the web at www.24-designs.com for requests today. Again, that is 24-designs.com. 24 Designs, where the best graphics are made.
Welcome live back on Checkered Flag Interactive. Steve Bonesteel, Shane Doherty here in the CFI booth. We are back we're going to have 9 laps to go once we get the final green flag here. Corey Hoover and Bronson Stafford out in front of the field here with an exciting little bit of racing we've got left.
Yeah, definitely have some time left here. But obviously that does not take away anything from the racing we have seen so far. It's been a great race so far. It was kind of sketchy at the beginning, but now we've seen some great racing throughout the entire event. Had that long run here. Now all of a sudden the race shifts gears and might turn to a completely different personnel, because the pace car is going to pull off here this coming time, and we're going to see all these guys back together for the first time in a while. And this is going to be just go get it. Nothing to lose, really. It's the first race of the season. You want to win at Daytona, and you want to have that chance to really get your season off on the right note, and that would be a great time to start here on this restart.
Going to be an exciting little bit of racing, like I said here. The pace car lights are off. It will be making that abrupt left-hand turn down pit road, and we will be back to racing.
Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford, they led most of the race. They are the front row. Corey Hoover elects the outside lane. Green flag is back in the air. Can they get together, or will we see someone else pair up and maybe take a chance at this lead?
All those guys at the front moving around. You see them all over the place, almost 3 wide towards the back, but single file through the top 4 there. The number 73 on the back bumper, the 20, the 32 is not quite there, and he needs help.
Yeah, definitely going to need some help there, but no help at least at the moment. But here all of a sudden he comes. He's pushing Jason Garrett, who's all of a sudden back on the lead lap and is really doing well. And he's up there in the top 4. He was back there early on. He made his way up in that last run. He's been on the lead lap since, and he's now in the top 3 with a chance to win here, like so many others up here in the top 10.
I'd say there's not a single driver there in the top 10 that doesn't have at least a half of a shot to get this win here. Coming across the line, most of these guys single file, but just like every other restart this race, once the elastic band kind of feeling gets going back, these guys will get thrown back up towards those leaders once they need to make a swap for some clean air, and we're going to have ourselves a big race on our hands.
You definitely don't want to have those guys get away, though. They did it beforehand. They didn't do it early on. They took a couple laps, but they got away. Bronson Stafford, Corey Hoover pulling away at the moment. If you let them break away, it's game over. So these guys pushing hard, trying to stay up with them.
4-car breakaway here at the front, exactly what you said, but these guys, they can't let them break away, because once they get about a second in front of them, that chance of latching onto that tail end draft is going to be gone. But right now the 17's got a shot from the 38, and they're heading back towards the front.
Yes, they are indeed, Lee. They're going to have to really work together, though, because you can't let these guys get away. They're pulling them in right now. The question is when do you make your move? If you're going to make a move, do you wait till the last lap, or you wait till you have that run? They're going to have that run coming into 3. Here comes Scott Ikes, a big block from Dean Head. We're held, and they make contact there. Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford trying to switch. We could see 3 wide here. Getting dicey up here for the lead in the closing laps.
Almost 3 wide towards the front, and there we are, 3 wide for a moment there. You see more drivers starting to pair up and tandem their way up towards this front pack. The 38, just like that, found his way up in the front, and now we've got ourselves a 6-truck battle, but now that they're side by side racing hard, the rest of the field is coming.
Yeah, this is 6 go now, and this is the first time we've seen legitimate competition against these leaders. It's been Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford. They're all of a sudden in the back half of these couple of cars in the lead. And now Jason Garrett all of a sudden has been the car in control this lap, Dean Held on the outside is basically going to be who can push harder. That's going to win this race, but you don't want to overheat those engines. You want to be able to push the entire last lap of the race, or you're going to lose a ton of time because it's do or die, really, for those engines. Use them while you got them.
The 17 and the 32 on the outside now, trying to get clear the 32 of Dean Helt. He will get clear, but Scott Ikes in that 17 machine, he is not quite. And they're running so high up on the track that they're not really going to get the side draft, trying to get the momentum, and they are clear in front of the field.
They are clear there. 5 laps to go, 4.5. Actually coming to 4 to go this time by when they cross the finish line. Here comes Bronson Stafford and Corey Hoover. Shane Therrien trying to put a block, not going to work. These guys are going to flip-flop the lead. It's going to be about that guy who has the lead on the final lap, because you can't make you move now and then get swallowed up. It's who's leading at the end that matters, not necessarily who's leading now with 4 to go.
We'll see the number 20 now and the number 2, Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford on the outside. These guys pushing once again, trying to make something happen. The 32 and the 17, Scott Ikes and Dean Helt on the inside line. Now they're going to make a switch on the high side. The number 2 is going to drop down. The number 20 is going to go up by the wall there. That's going to slow down momentum. We'll see if any of the other drivers start to make a switch. But now we've got another 4 cars up in this lead pack, and we've got ourselves a big-time race.
I think that plan for Bronson Stafford, Corey Hoover is to switch there, push themselves on a fresh engine out to the lead, and then from there, I have no idea what they're going to do. But they're going to need to get the lead for this strategy to work, and if Dean Held and Scott Ikes hold those guys off from the outside, it's basically going to be game on from that point on. If you're in the outside lane and the truck overheats, it's game over. You're going to the back, because the inside lane's been effective, but we've got some guys starting to make some moves there. Josh Sands is making some moves on the outside, but he has no help.
On board now with the number 73, just taking a look, these trucks moving around a lot on the bottom side. You see the 32 outside that front window starting to make a block in the number 2, but now they've got the run on the high side. Now he's on the high side.
They get a little bit disconnected. Corey Hoover, Bronson Stafford making the moves. Corey Hoover leads that lap here. 2 laps to go. Who's going to make it back here in 2 laps to win the race, but who's going to last the longest? Because these guys have been pushing for quite some time here, getting some concerns on engine temps. Trying to make it 3 wide, and oh, there goes the 32. Little bumper hook there. Unfortunate, Scott Ikes. Unfortunate. Now the 73 is going to try and break up Bronson Stafford and Corey Hoover. Jason Garrett, the caution's out. Bronson Stafford, with a push from Jason Garrett, wins the race.
That was incredible, but a bummer at the same time. Just really wanted to see this race go green.
I think it's for the 32 truck of Dean Held, who's come to a stop after he made that spin. He actually came up the track and hit another truck. Oh, a huge wreck after that. Wow, he took out a couple of trucks. Rally Grant Davis is flipping. And the 19 truck spun around. That actually took out 5 trucks just sliding back up on the track. A massive wreck.
Replay up on your screen. Not much the 32 could have done for himself there. He creamed the 46, who absolutely demolished some other cars, and big time trouble.
Yeah, they still wrecked even about a couple seconds after that part, so it's a big wreck there. Absolutely needed the caution, but definitely not what we were looking for as in terms of the finish, but that's all right. Jason Garrett makes the move, I believe, of the race by stealing Bronson Stafford from Corey Hoover, pushing him out there. He gets second because he broke those guys up. How that last lap would have went, I have no idea. But because of that, Bronson Stafford's going to win tonight's season opener. It's going to be Jason Garrett. Jeff Figlin somehow apparently is scored in the 3rd spot, although I think that will reset because Corey Hoover is 3rd.
Well, with that being said, these guys will cross the line, and that will be that here from Daytona. We'll go through the final results as the official results come in, and we'll get things wrapped up for the night. Results on your screen. Bronson Stafford, the winner, followed by Jason Garrett, Corey Hoover, Shane Terrian, Jeff Figlin there, Scott Ikes in that 6th position, Eric Conklin there in 7th, Josh Sands in 8th, Brad Pummel 9th, Tom Bourne in 10th, James Silvers there finishing in 11th, Brooks Potts in 12th, Riley Grant Davis, disappointing start of the season for him, 13th, Corey Blevlin's there, 14th, Dennis Myers, 15th, Bryson Barker, 16th after leading some laps earlier on, Ryan Broderick there in 17th, Dean Helt with that massive spin coming to the white flag, he will finish 18th, Sean Powell 19th, Chris Johnson 20th, Joe Lawrence 21st, Michael Finlayson 22nd, John Ross will finish in 23rd, Clint Carr 24th, he's a good guy here, as well as Brian Ward, Josh Revel, William Kruzka, and then Cody Tabor, Paul Crumry there, and Marcus Lambert rounding out the top 30. Well, the 30 cars that ended up running this race. Pretty big field, but only about 15, 20 cars finished.
Yeah, I think it was around 15 that finished. Kind of decent if you consider all the big wrecks we had. We had quite a few that were taken out in these bigger wrecks, especially at the end. Is Bronson Stafford blowing up the motor there at the end? Doesn't matter, he won the race. Plenty of celebrations going on there on pit road, and good for him. He'll take some momentum here in heading into the rest of the season, and we'll get a chance to see most of these guys back here Thursday night when we cover the CMC Sportsman Series from the Upper Edge Racing League.
And with that said, thank you all for tuning in live to Checkered Flag Interactive on YouTube for the Checkered Flag Racing League. We'll keep you updated on the happenings as the season goes along.